Okay.
How the heretics. So when we grew up as Jehovah Witnesses, we were told that we should be neutral, and we should be neutral, and we should always be neutral. But what happens when there's a war? And like in Ukraine, should you always stay neutral? So, hello, Dmitry. How did you become one of Jehovah Witnesses in Ukraine? Tell us the story.
Yeah. Hello. That was about 20 years ago already. 20 and something already. I was young and naive, I would say, and striving for justice on this planet. And probably that was one of the selling points that they used to sell me this new world idea.
Mm.
So, like, it wasn't that I was even Christian before meeting JWs. So I was maybe interested in something supernatural, maybe mystic. Yeah, reading some books on, you know, science fiction, that kind of stuff, fantasy. So that was everything about my involvement with religion. But then they met me next to my school when I was like final year student at school, and suggested me to, study Bible, and I just accepted it for fun. So I wasn't intending, obviously, to become Jehovah's Witness in any time. But then there, I don't know, kind of magic happened. Uh, Probably some manipulations, yeah, psychological ones, like pushing me, uh, like telling me that, okay, asking me, do you believe this? Do you believe that? So, all these tricks from Pioneer School. And it's, to my shame, it worked.
Yeah.
And gradually, also, I was impressed by their uh, kind of scientific books, like as I thought, yeah, scientific, as I thought those days, like this evolution book, creation book. So we didn't have internet that time, and it sounded like really something very serious, like serious research was made uh, to write those books. Yeah. So that
Mm.
that was another thing that impressed me. So the kind of logic that they used to prove their point, and there was nothing like there was. It was difficult to kind of refute those arguments that they provided. So,
They kind of give you more arguments that than you have the time to refute.
and
And
it's
then all
like,
friendships are based on the fact that you don't. So it's kind of easy to give up.
yeah, like I had questions that were hard to answer, but they couldn't answer basically. But they said, okay, that's not that big of a problem. You can, uh, like, Jehovah will reveal it in his own time. So it's like last resort when they don't know what to answer. That's this last trick. Yeah, and then gradually, you are surrounded by these people. They motivate you. Like you just follow the majority that are around you. Yeah, they uh, like cut you off also step by step from your friends. Yeah, like from your normal relations that you used to have before meeting JWs. So like all the standard cult tricks. Like if
Yeah.
you watch the how to start a cult video, that's almost
Isolate you from
everything.
all your friends.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
you got baptized when you were how
19.
old? 19?
19. Yeah, I was baptized at my birthday. Exactly. That was fun part. So I have like kind of two birthdays, as they say,
Yeah.
for
Yeah,
1 year.
because back then the truth it was growth in all former Soviet. I
Mm.
was there working on Bethel in 1992, and it was like a war in the congregation to get enough magazines, because if you got the hand of 100 Watchtower and Awake, you would undoubtedly deliver them in an afternoon. So it was like a competition, and they would be angry at you if you grabbed more than. So it wasn't enough for everyone. It was so easy to go in field service. Everyone wanted to read. Everyone wanted to study. So I guess you were one of.
I was late for that party. I heard it, but in my days it wasn't that much interest in our country. But there was still. But I know the people who joined JWs during that wave, yeah, after the break of Soviet Union. Yeah, where like the whole nation was super naive, I would say, and they were tricked by whoever wanted to do that. Any scammers, any religion scam, any finance scam, politics scam, whatever. So people were taught to believe whatever they hear.
It was kind of a fun time because everyone in Soviet was kind of super naive.
Yeah.
Because they know that if you're in capitalism, you can be super rich, and then someone tells them they can be super rich, so they couldn't really find their bearings so fast, so they would lash onto old schemes in different religions in different directions. Until they all ended up with Putin and the Orthodox Church.
Yeah, people were taught to trust whatever they hear on TV. And if they read something in a newspaper, that's also like almost 100% truth. Although they knew that they were lied to, but they were trained to, so they couldn't believe that if something is told on TV or written in newspaper, that it could be like fake lie. So yeah, that was abused, like misused by.
It was kind of a industrial. Me as an outsider going to Soviet, and I love Russia. It's not like I really do love it. That's why I speak the language. I love the people and everything, and all the Slavic. But from our perspective, it was kind of like they were kind of naive because they didn't really know what communists were. And everything was very black and white. Either you believe everything or you distrust everything. But one question, so you got baptized when you're 19. Did you serve in the army? Because you have conscription like we had in Sweden, and I refused because I was a witness.
No, first I entered university, so that gives you kind of chance to avoid it. Yeah, but also I had like health problems that gave me excuse from the military service. So I didn't have issues like with refusing army service. So the only army service I went through was at school. we practice loading AK-47, but didn't shoot, and we shoot from some air guns. So that was maximum, but and some fake grenades, something like this. Okay. So it was Soviet style training.
Okay. Yeah, okay, so you did that prior to baptism at least.
Yeah, definitely. Definitely, yeah.
Right. Okay. So being a Jehovah's Witness, what was the good parts? Because I think it's important to remember the good parts.
The good part, but maybe it helped me maybe joining something worse. I don't know. Like in my young years, when I, like as most of young people, at least normally, they strive for justice, strive for something better world. Yeah, so it could lead me maybe to even worse place. Who knows? And also I've met like throughout these years some good people. So I cannot say that lots of friendships, but at least some of the people I met, I still like have friendships with. Some of they are still in, some of they are already out. JWs, but basically, and we had a quite good time. We went for vacation, yeah, to the seaside, so did some had some fun basically. That was probably one of the best parts of it. Can't think of anything specific that I benefited from. Yeah, so I screwed up lots of things in my life, but
quite normal just to like the people because they were our friends.
yeah,
That's
some of them still are.
yeah.
I have friendship, like not friendship, but we hang out with elders even now.
You still hang out with elders?
Yes. Yeah.
Ah, so
During
not with
COVID,
elders.
yeah. No, with basically with one elder, I would say.
Okay. Yeah.
He
Elders
doesn't
get
know.
old.
Like I don't say that I'm that bad apostate, but yeah. So
No,
they're
but
nice people.
if he's not pushing,
Yeah, he's not. He's a
then
very
he's
nice guy.
pragmatic and probably a pragmatic PiMo, that believe it but doesn't. A lot of people believe that God is just going to say that, okay, this is Armageddon and bad. A nice Armageddon, people won't get killed and he makes a paradise and everyone's happy. And they are kind of often relaxed. When I was a witness, I actually believed in the nice Armageddon where God just come and say, okay, listen up. I'm not going to kill anyone, but I'm going to change stuff,
Yeah, it depends on how you view it. So to even realize that how bad it is, you need to already like think it through. But if you are just thinking about it from the JW's point of view, so it's all good, right? So bad people are punished, good people are rewarded. So basically, the justice is restored. Yeah. So you don't realize like this. There is a problem with there are quite a number of problems with this kind of justice, but you don't realize that, right? So not necessarily that they like believe it out of malice, I would say. So they just believe in something like paradise. They don't know even how it will look like, right? So wherever you go into details, yeah, maybe when we had book studies, yeah, so people often raised questions like how this will happen in paradise, how that will happen, and the only answer is like we don't know, but it will be cool. Like Jehovah knows better, right? So he will like
Yeah, we
bring
should
us,
focus on the spiritual blessings, not the material
yeah,
blessings.
yeah. So everything will be cool. So we don't know how, but it will. So like these people, they are really attracted, like trapped. They are like by this doctrine, they are sold a dream, basically.
Yeah, I was Anthony Morris. He was talking about the governing body or the anointed. They should be ruling Earth for eternity. So imagine a planet where people that have proved themselves faithful through concentration camps and all this crappy situation, and God say, you're the few that are worthy to live this because you've been loyal. You went through hell and you were loyal, and now I will lift you up to perfection. And then still Anthony Morris should be looking over my shoulder constantly for billions and billions and billions and billions and billions of years, even though I'm lifted up to perfection after enduring hell with loyalty and integrity. Why would anyone look after my own? I don't like that today. Why would I accept that if I was lifted up to perfection? It
Yeah,
doesn't
but
sound like a paradise to me.
yeah, there are lots of things that doesn't sound like paradise, but you don't focus on them, right? You are focusing on something good when you are like JW. Yeah, and when we joined, we didn't have Tony Morris on broadcast, so
No.
I wonder how people join the JWs now. That's a secret to me. Like, but people are quite stupid enough in the majority to believe all sorts of crap. So no wonder some people still do.
So how did you wake up? Did you wake up, or maybe you're just spiritually weak?
Like I was talking about spiritually weak. Probably yes, because yeah, no spiritually strong would become an apostate. uh, I was serving as pioneer for many years as a ministerial servant. Didn't I didn't get to elders, but was doing quite a lot in the congregation, and probably the internet was uh, like the road to apostasy, I would say. Like just when you just go to internet, even for whatever reason, but just talking to people who are not JWs. And I originally even tried to preach on the internet before it became mainstream, so it was like 10 years, more than 10 years ago. And you encounter replies that you basically cannot. No, you try to refute, but they make you think. Yeah, they make you start thinking. Yeah, start maybe exploring more. Yeah, and that's the road that gradually brings you to more discoveries, I would say. Yeah, and then I I came across Lloyd Evans' channel. I know that's now it's not perfect topic to talk about, but that time he was also PiMo that time, like
Mhm.
I'm going like broadcasting from undercover, so somewhat similar to my situation, and like I listened to him, and then there are lots of things, and the most uh, maybe helpful part throughout my journey to full like faith were the elders. So they were always like helping me on this path. So they were arrogant enough, manipulative enough, like stupid enough to, you know, prove that everything that kind of apostles say about them that is really true. So they are that's uh, that guys. Again, not all of them, but the ones who I came across in my congregations. So I'm grateful to them for being that stupid and arrogant. So good job.
Mhm.
I like they say like Bethel uh, makes the best apostates, and elders also make quite good apostates. So
Yeah, it's. I remember I was at the London protest with the Worldly Friend, so we were apostates, and he was listening to us talking, and we were talking trash about the witnesses because we think they're so lazy, and he just said, It's so fun because you believe what the witnesses do is wrong." And and you think they should stop doing it, and you really, really want them to stop doing it, but also you're angry that they are lazy and not doing it enough, because we'll look at them standing by these carts, playing Angry Birds, and like, "Well, I was the witness. We used to go from door to door in the jungle and swim between the crocodiles, and now they're just playing Angry Birds." And so he just noticed that all of the apostates were angry with the Jehovah Witnesses because we don't think they study enough. We don't think they know enough about the doctrine. We think they should go more in field service.
yeah, well,
Because those
just
that were apostates are basically the ones that really took it serious until they realized that it's bullshit. And
yeah, it's easier if you don't take it serious. Yeah, you can be Jehovah's Witness forever. Yeah, if it's just like a social club for you. Yeah, you just love hanging out with like-minded people. Yeah, maybe who don't take it serious as well. So it's
mm,
not the worst place maybe to be in. Yeah, and another thing that like talking about our today's like topic, yeah, about neutrality. So it was around that time that Russia attacked Ukraine, yeah, for the first time, like in say this
2014.
century. Yeah, it was 2014, and I was also kind of disappointed by the way uh, our branch office uh, treated that situation, how our elders treated that situation. Like it was that bad that one of our like our body of elders coordinator even prayed about these independent republics like Donetsk and Luhansk, so-called people republics, which are basically acknowledging Ukraine as terrorist organizations. Yeah, but I didn't say amen even, so that was like basically
But
crazy.
he prayed in the Kingdom Hall, so
Yeah,
I
in the
don't
Kingdom
really care about
Hall
his
at the end
political
of the
opinion. But
congregation,
what?
like the final prayer, yeah, closing prayer to the congregation meeting. Yeah, so he prayed like God bless these new republics, our brothers in this. So I was like angry as hell in that time.
That's unconventional. Let's leave it at that. It might be that he meant like pray for peace or turn the other cheek or something. I don't know, but it's very unconventional for a Jehovah Witness to pray for
Yeah,
a nation.
it wasn't like expected even from him. Like he never did, like never repeated that, but uh, it happened. And when I came also like for vacation that year to the country that I later moved to. Uh, Also, there was another elder, like not from my congregation, like as a invited speaker, right? And he also was kind of repeating Russian propaganda about that they have this in Russian it's ополченцы, is kind of rebels, how you say, militia, yeah.
Mm.
So all these guys who were sent to our country by Russia, who were maybe recruited from locals, yeah, by Russians again, giving them weapons. So he said, okay, uh, like ha ha ha, they are shooting themselves, stuff like that. So just kind of repeating in the public talk
You're breaking up a little
kind
there.
of Russian news, Russian state news. So that was also like
So he was doing
from
the
him
Russian
and our branch
propaganda through
office,
the platform
kind
in
of
Bulgaria.
repeating the messages. Yes, kind of
Yeah.
repeating those messages. And later he became the LD in my congregation when I moved here. We went preaching with him and talked about politics.
Mm.
And he changed his view, like eventually, maybe not that pro-Russian this like standpoint, but it's like had my brows raised, yeah, that year. And our Bethel, like our branch office in Ukraine. So the first thing they did, like when Russia grabbed Crimea, so they said, okay, let's let Crimea territory go under Russian branch. Yeah. So they just gave it up almost immediately, and that was also, you know, mm, not didn't look good to me to do it that easy, that fast, to give our brothers and sisters to the hands of dictator, yeah, without any chance to protect they knew that they are persecuted there. Yeah, and now they left them even without a chance for protection from Ukraine. Yeah, from Ukraine's law, for instance. And they also had maybe they even still have it news on the website. Also calling these terrorist guys, terrorist leaders, so they call them like kind of parliament, with all official titles. So that's like if they were like met by our security services, or maybe looked closer by our security services, that would be a kind of criminal offense in Ukraine to write that kind of crap, to call terrorists like kind of state. But it was okay. no one cared.
Yeah.
So the Jehovah's Witnesses, they are basically treated very well in Ukraine historically.
They say they are politically neutral, but they are not. Like here, people talk about democracy like a good thing, which actually, according to them, would be something that Satan came up with. They always say that they support government.
But in that case, they didn't,
because they want
basically.
some tax thing.
In that case, they like played in favor of those who they are afraid of more. So they were not afraid of Ukrainian government because it never did anything bad to them. Yeah, but they were afraid of Russia and of those terrorists who occupied Ukrainian territory, and there were reasons to be afraid, because they really started persecuting our brothers and sisters, and but that's why they tried to kind of play in their favor, somehow to soften them. Somehow it didn't work, but but they tried. So that's
I will not make fun of them for being afraid of Putin because he's an asshole. So I will not make fun of them. But the funny thing is, they always talk about being brave. Being brave,
it's about
being
politics,
brave, being brave,
I would say.
and being brave. They're not really brave. They are just awkward and weird, and that doesn't really take bravery.
Yeah, that was more of a coward style politics, I would say, not about neutrality. That's for sure.
Yeah, like now in Norway, they want to get the government funding back, and obviously they lied to the government. But what they also write that we are integrated. They say stuff like we're an important part and we play a function in society. We're integrated, blah blah blah. Like they're really sucking up to Satan's system because they want Satan's money. What they call Satan's money. So they're not in any way hardlining, like, no, we are not a part of the world and we do not want your money and we are not a part of the society. We are separate. No. We are just like everyone else. We're like every other religion. So for me, it's not bravery to be weird. Like sometimes I'm weird. I have this weird mustache that most people don't. And does it make me brave? No. Makes me weird. It's a total different thing. So if I refuse to celebrate birthday because someone was executed, it doesn't make me brave. It makes me weird. It's a totally different thing. If I stand up against fascism, that makes me brave.
Yeah, that's true. The brave days are long gone.
Don't give me birthday cake. Yeah. So when now Russia attacked a democracy, in this case your democracy, and your family live there, how did you react? Because you're supposed to be neutral, and if someone asks you, I have no opinion about this, which we all know that everyone have. How did you react? Because you're faded, so you could lose not your family because you didn't grow up in the cult, but you could lose a lot of friends, basically.
Yeah, we started our active fade after this COVID break. This was 2000 when the meeting switched to Zoom, so we waited for a month and quit going there, because that was a good best chance, I would say, to
Yeah,
fail.
you're COVID fader.
Yeah, I'm cool with fader. Yeah, but like I said, I never like broke up with anyone seriously with from our congregation. So they still count me as a. I'm still in field service group, even today. Uh, yeah, but the first thing I did, so we had our diaspora here in Bulgaria, and like the first reaction was to go to protest to the Russian consulate. Yeah, English
Mm.
word. Uh, so we went protesting like the first day, the second day, like first time we were super few, then more people joined us. So like cried, like gave some talks. So I was given this speaker, how to say it, this megaphone. Yeah.
You had a microphone.
Oh, kind of. Yeah, the one that's used to shout
Yeah,
at
so we're
protest.
struggling with English here. It's a Ukrainian and a Swede, and we're talking English. But this
Yeah,
handhold thing. I think it's. Can
yeah,
someone
yeah,
wrote what it's called? Is it called a megaphone? I think that's called in Swedish megaphone.
yeah, something like this.
So this thing that looks like a trumpet.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. Yeah. Anyway, so I used it to say because I was super like annoyed, super angry because they started bombing my city where my relatives lived. So I had all my family there except from my wife and my child. So all the other relatives and my friends, they live like in the city 30 kilometers from Russia, and it was attacked the very first day, like the very first like morning of Russian attack. So they started bombing it, and like I was warning them to to escape, or like even before, like, or when you hear these bombs, like run right away, don't think about anything, just take whatever documents, money, and just flee away. Don't wait until it gets worse. And only my mom basically heeded my advice, and the rest they decided to stay. Uh, and they're still there. So, like first days they were hiding in the bomb shelter, but then they just got used to it, basically, to this bombing, and they started to, hide in some like room without windows. Yeah, like safer room in the house, because these shelters, they're not how to say fit enough for staying long there. So they're cold. People get sick there. So some people, they still live in the underground, like subway in American, like metro. So many people live there, but not the whole city.
Mm.
And like my city is now half destroyed. So they hit my school where I studied. They hit the apartment building next, like in front of my house, and burned it down from the roof. Like as I was told, yeah, from the roof to the bottom. So there was some, I don't know, like even what kind of uh, bomb or rocket, whatever that was. There was something like fiery there, so they burned everything together with people. So that's kind of crazy stuff going on, and they still like continuing it. Now it's sometimes maybe not that active, but still like they're shooting every day, shelling. Like so, my city is one of the worst, not the worst suffered in Ukraine, but kind of top three, I would say.
Okay. Yeah. So the point is being neutral in when people fighting. It's a good thing to be neutral in, but the notion that you can always be neutral Like I grew up in Sweden and we're neutral, and not because we're stupid, it's because we're kind of nice to the Russians because they know that if one evil empire want to fight with another evil empire, they cannot launch an attack from Swedish territory. So we do not support one evil empire, in front of the other one. So that means the Russians relax. And while we have to put up a bigger fight if they don't relax. So it's a gamble, but it's a gamble that's obviously in their favor. And it's been a very good policy for both Sweden and Finland. Sweden the longest. We haven't been in war since 1814. So we keep neutral. And now it's a situation where being neutral is meaning that you're up for grabs. So actually the opinion in Sweden is that people want us to join the NATO, and that's not because they love America. Basically, that's why we took the burden of being neutral, because most people in Europe think that America suffer from toxic masculinity. Kind of, they think it's a virtue to be behaving like that, which basically just create more problem. But being neutral is often a good thing, but the idea of always being neutral, you as a technically Jehovah's Witness, when a non-democratic person that also persecuted Jehovah's Witnesses attack a nation where your family, worldly and witnesses and your friend lives, bombing civilians. So even from a witness perspective, Putin would be a bad guy for persecuting Jehovah's Witnesses, which I agree about. And then Ukraine would be better because they're nice to Jehovah's Witnesses. And then in this situation, to be asked to be, no, I'm neutral. I don't have a political opinion if this is good or bad. I focus on the blessings from God's kingdom and financial needs of Stephen Lett. No human being can do that. What do you say? Did you freeze? Oh, maybe I scared him. Okay, so we prepared this interview. See if he has some problem now. We prepared this interview, and what he told me is that he was taking part of this protest outside the embassy or the consulate of Russia, and he was in the media, and the elders came and started talking to him like, yeah, let's see here.
Hey,
now we can hear you again.
Am I back?
Yeah, welcome back. So I just told them that you had kind of a leading role in this protest outside the embassy, Russian consulate, and you were in the media, and obviously that would be violating Christian neutrality, what they would say. So the elders, the Bulgarian elders, then came to you and wanted to talk to you about this. How did it go? What happened?
They didn't came. They called me. They were calling me like on my mobile. Yeah. So we had then some messenger Viber call with them.
So there were two elders.
Yeah, there were two elders.
Yeah.
Both of them Ukrainians. So and they were asking me about this involvement. They thought that I'm really the organizer of that protest, which I wasn't. I was like maybe actively expressing my opinion against like Russia invading Ukraine. Yeah, I was quite angry, shouting some bad words against Putin and the occupants. So I didn't like say that it wasn't me. So I acknowledged that and was trying to explain the very point that you were saying, that like in this kind of situation you cannot remain aside, keeping silent. So silence now means support for the aggressor. Like it's in a situation when like a big bully is attacking maybe a child, or a rapist, attacking his victim. and you see it, and you just say, okay, I'm neutral. So that's even in some like countries, it's a criminal offense, right? So
Yeah,
if you
it should
see
be.
that a person is in danger, and you just turn around and walk away, like neutral. So I'm neutral to person like raping someone, or abusing someone, or beating someone. So that's really cowardly standpoint, I would say. You know that if you try to do something, you really like, if you are involved in protecting, the victim, you can also be hurt. It's true.
Mm.
If you like even call police, or like do something yourself, there is a chance that you will also get some injury or whatever. But this is the right thing to do.
Mm.
So I know we all know that Putin doesn't like anyone who criticize him, so he sends murderers, killers to even to other states, like he kills in Russia as well. Yeah, we know a number of people who were killed by Russian special services or just some hired killers worldwide, in Europe, in NATO, in Russia, in Ukraine. So it's really kind of dangerous, for everyone to speak loud, against this dictator.
Yeah.
But this is the right thing to do. If we don't do that, then like where is our justice? Where is our like love for our neighbors? For
And where's the courage they talk
where's the
about?
courage?
Yeah,
It's
like
just
they had this video about courage. It was a kid with cancer, and Jehovah Witnesses courage. How do you say it in English?
courageously.
Courageously did not sign his birthday card. So the kid with cancer, and you, courage, give me courage not to sign the birthday card to the kid with cancer.
That's
And then when they have this problem with child abuse, and you ask them, why don't you always call the police, and say, well, that might be slander and someone might sue Watchtower for slander. Yeah, that's called courage. You do the right thing and you might get into trouble for doing the right thing. That's exactly true. The answer they give when they don't report things, they say, well, if it's not mandatory to report and actually the pedophile might sue us, yeah, that might happen. It's called doing the right thing. You
it
might
comes
get in
with a
trouble for
price.
doing the right thing, and you might
Yeah
lose a lawsuit against a pedophile and have to give him money. Worst case scenario, but at least you did the right thing, and the kid will be happy. So,
and this situation, like it was said by many other people, but I would like just to repeat it, that it is not really the fight between just Ukraine and Russia. Just because our culture is better, our language is better. So I'm Russian speaking from my birth. So and my city is Russian speaking. So the city that they have destroyed, and the Mariupol, the city that is almost completely destroyed, like total massacre going there. So it's also Russian speaking. So just two different states. It's just the fight between two ideologies, two world views. So one is of like brute force, dictatorship, abusing others who are weaker than you. So, and the other is like an attempt to live a normal life, as really human beings, to respect others. So like Ukraine is in no way a perfect state, so I don't claim that. We don't have perfect politics,
no.
so we hate them like as well. Like Ukrainians are good at hating their own politics, but uh, we never like wanted to join this like uh, kind of kingdom of dictatorship, of abuse. Yeah, so we were forced throughout our history, so with military force, like they're trying it again today, to join them, but we always fought. Like we were losing, yeah, many battles, but we still, like, through hundreds years, we still, like, try to resist. And that's what we do now, again
Yeah.
and again.
Yeah, it's so the elders that came to you, it came two elders, and that would be to say, thank you, Dan. And all the income I get from my YouTube channel is not much, but actually I'm giving it to the Ukraine because we all have to
Yeah,
do something. Thank you,
yeah,
Dan.
thanks.
But what when two elders contacted you to talk about you not being neutral verbally, you said probably some profanity, and you were in the media, and that's a big thing for them. When they want to disfellowship, they always ask you how many know about this, because if they can keep it quiet, you get away with more sins than if it's publicly known. In this case, it was publicly known, and two elders contact you, and that is to decide whether there should be a judicial committee. And since you didn't hear anything, they probably, these two elders kind of sympathized with you, and they were have to say thank you to Donny Boy. They were Ukrainians.
Yeah, I wouldn't talk to Russian even, like that would be much worse like much harsh conversation if those elders were Russians, because we have even like FSB, ex-FSB elder in our congregation, so it's as crazy as that. uh, like Federal Security Bureau of Russia. So yeah, definitely I wouldn't accept any criticism from them at all.
No.
Yeah,
So
but they,
you spoke about, you didn't lie, because as a Jehovah Witness, you were supposed to say that, well, we think war is wrong, and we're looking forward to the day when there will be no war. And I'm so happy for being one of Jehovah Witnesses. That's how you're supposed to react when a dictator is bombing your city, while lying and saying, because I have a lot of Russian friends that believe in the Russian propaganda. You can't really blame them, because they are in a huge echo chamber, the biggest echo chamber in the world. It's 11 time zones. And I have some really good friends that really soak up everything from Russian state TV. And they believe that the Russians, like you are Russian actually from Ukraine, that
no, I'm
they
not
are
Russian. I'm Russian speaking, I would say.
yeah, like Russian speaking, but they believe that the Russian speaking part of Ukraine is persecuted, they're slaughtered, they are expelled from school, and they are killed, and all this crazy stuff. And obviously, you're not.
No, we are killed,
Yeah,
and our schools are destroyed by Russians.
yeah,
Yeah, no
by
one.
Putin, but
Yeah, but
so
where
obviously,
there is no Putin, there is no war, there is no persecution of whatever. So my city, I can say, is the home to, like, people from all parts of the world. From Africa, we have tens of thousands of Africans. We have people from Asia, from different parts of Asia. So, like, Russians, obviously,
yeah,
and whatever. And we didn't have any, like, serious like race or ethnic whatever conflicts throughout all our history, like of independent Ukraine.
yeah. I actually kind of dated two women from the Ukraine, one from Kharkiv and one from Kiev, and both of them described themselves as Russian with Ukrainian citizenship, because they spoke Ukrainian as a second language. But when they speak Ukrainian, to me, it just sounds weird because I speak Russian. So we spoke Russian together. But never anyone said that Ukraine is controlled by Nazis, that are racist. My impression of Ukrainians, and basically that they are kind of open, sometimes a bit Islamophobic, but not at the people from the Islam, but from the religion. And well, I think they
We don't have much of Islam actually in Ukraine. Obviously, it's a traditionally Orthodox country, but also in my city we have now a Islam community, like Muslim communities, and me personally, I was preaching to guys from Saudi Arabia, from Pakistan, who came as students here, and they had lots of friends among Ukrainians. So there's like our women are like marrying Africans, marrying Arabs, marrying Muslims, whoever. So we never had any problems with any of religion or race, whatever. So the only I can tell you, like, the only story that's for you to like understand the difference between Russia and Ukraine in this regard. Obviously, as any country, we like maybe almost any country, we have skinheads movement. It's true. Also, I wouldn't deny that. In my city, it was like even in the 90s, and they're not numerous. Like, I haven't seen them for I don't know how many years. I don't even think I've even seen them on the streets. So you need to really to look hard to find any. But there was one case when I was preaching in the English-speaking territory in my city, in Kharkiv, and we were preaching mostly to Africans from Nigeria. Most of them were from Nigeria, and like they told us a story that it was in the early 2000s, 2000, maybe 2005. The skinheads from Russia came to our city to kind of instruct our skinheads how to treat like non-whites. So they were already strong in Russia in those days, and they were taking Asians like immigrants, beating them, killing them in Russia. And they showed like an example of attacking. So they attacked some black guys in Kharkiv, and then they left basically. And like to the how to say, to the glory of our skinheads, they never repeated that. No, they never did their own. At least that I haven't heard of any single case of anyone doing that. So because if this real fascist movement, skinhead, they were all controlled by Russian security services, and it's still the case until now. So they're all under their control. They sponsor like all radical movements throughout Europe, obviously in Russia itself. So they don't mind even be it right radical, like right extremists or left extremists. So they sponsor both, to push their agenda. The same here is here in Bulgaria. We also have this both left, like communist movements, and
you'll always
right
have people
movements,
with
but they are
different
all pushing.
So my point is that because I hear a lot of some people in Norway and some people in America and everywhere, they're pushing the Putin propaganda that Ukraine is Nazified, and all my experience with Ukrainians is that obviously there's some assholes there, and there are assholes everywhere, but Ukrainians in general, all the people I know there have described themselves as Russian with Ukrainian citizenship. It's very few real kind of Ukrainians I met, but no one have described any problem of being persecuted or that. And all people I met has been very, very open to other cultures, very including, very nice. I would not. It's a struggling democracy. It's not only struggling democracy, but it is a democracy, and it's really frustrating when people from all over the globe just broadcast the Russian propaganda that they are Nazi and therefore we can invade. First, you can't invade them just because they have the wrong opinion. That's still not okay. But
no, the Nazis in Russian worldview is everyone who doesn't want to subject to them, so like to subdue to them. So if you're not listening to what they say, then you're a Nazi, obviously.
Yeah.
So if you don't want to speak only Russian, and those that say like kind of bad guys, I'm not saying that even they did something bad, but obviously skinhead ideology, is related to Hitler. It's not a good thing, obviously. But they are not even, I don't know, like 1/100th of fraction of percent. So they are just like few people, maybe to a million. And the nation, more or less, nationalist is not being nationalist is not equal to being Nazi. Obviously, like Ukraine is the least nationalist country among all that surround it. Maybe excluding Belarus, because Belarus is obviously absorbed by Russians and almost lost its identity. It's a pity, but it's true. But all the other countries, they are more nationalist than Ukraine, including Russia, which is like fascist in according to all.
I want to stay positive, but there's a lot of places I would describe as more racist and Ukraine, and that's kind of my point. And it's so sad that people just broadcast Putin's propaganda as truth, because one thing we know about Putin is that he is a dictator. His political opponents fall out the windows or have a heart attack, end up in jail. He persecutes journalists, human rights activists, everything that's in his way. We know he does that. And then when he sells propaganda, people are like, well, we really should listen to him and hear his side. No, the way he behaved for 20 years actually give you the authority to say, I will not listen to anything. So we have a question here. Can you ask if JW men in Bulgaria can join the military? You know that?
I haven't heard of any exception to Bulgaria in this regard. Obviously not. They are not allowed. So there is like a famous issue with Bulgaria about blood. But it's also just a game of words. They still don't allow it here. So they just tricked Bulgarian government like some years ago.
Okay, so I'm just curious about what the elders said, because my point is, well, you're faded now, so obviously, like you and me, both, Putin is an asshole and you have to speak up against him. No one really did or ended up in a ditch. So at one point, you just have to say everything this guy says is wrong and everything he's doing is evil. And everyone needs to call him out all the time, because as soon as one person calls him out, he has a heart attack or fall out of a window. So the only way to solve it, if you don't want to carry a weapon, at least you have to protest outside something. So we agree about that. That's what a man's supposed to do. At least if you don't put a gun, you have to protest. But what did the two elders? Because the whole setting now is that you actually did something that would get you disfellowshipped, and you did not deny it, and you didn't get disfellowshipped. So my whole point with this is that those nice elders, we don't have to say their name, but they actually probably agreed with your political statement and thought, in this case, his political statement is so true that we'll let it slide. If you would have been screaming that I want this president guy as a president instead of that guy as a president, you would be disfellowshipped because you take care of politics. Or if it were just some kind of border conflict, you you would have been disfellowship. But now what he's doing is so black and white wrong, so even witnesses cannot deny it.
No,
So
I think it's
I find
one
it
of the
fascinating.
reasons why I haven't been disfellowship. Yeah, because they are both Ukrainians. They also have relatives left in Ukraine, and they know that they are in danger, and they know how people feel. Yeah, when you have your relatives in that kind of situation. So they, of course, they cannot say that they agree with me, obviously, like because of their position as elders, but they kind of let it go, probably taking account my feelings. Like I would say, I believe that's the main reason. So they understand how much like annoyed and like worried I am about my relatives. So maybe my belief is this is the reason. Yeah,
I think
maybe in
we
the heart
share.
they understand that I'm right. Yeah, but that uh, keeping silent when your people are like have like attempted genocide on them is not a good thing.
No.
Yeah, and uh, yeah, they cannot voice it, but I think because I know even today I talked to my friend who's ministerial servant. Yeah, and he himself and almost everyone he knows from like GWs in Ukraine, they're not neutral in this or other day. So uh, like oh, only the only person I know who is neutral. I know two people, and they are of really Russian origin. that that affects it. So,
Yeah.
but when you understand that this is your people attempted to be destroyed, yeah. So it's almost like it just depends on how brave they are to voice their disagreement. Yeah, but
Well, if they would voice their disagreement, like the elders that spoke to you, they would be disfellowshipped, and I assume they believe in the religion. So they let you slide
they
because they
believe.
agree with. Because if they didn't agree with you, if they were like this, I wasn't there, so this is me guessing, of course. But if they said, "Well, poor Dmitro, he is spiritually weak and expressed a political opinion out of weakness, not because he's a bad person, out of weakness," then they will go straight on. Come to the meeting, come to the meeting, come to the meeting. What about Wednesday? I can pick you up. What about Thursday? We can go fishing and then we will read Watchtower together. They will go all in on, the get you back to the meeting, get you back to the field service. But they didn't do that because they realized that you're not spiritually weak. You're actually right about this. And on subconscious level, they even might think that maybe it will help. So that's kind of my point. No one
No,
is
I cannot
100%
decide for
neutral.
them as well. Yeah, so yeah, I just can give my impression, yeah, my opinion, but yeah, I cannot speak
Yeah,
for them in this
but from
regard.
the elder
What they
perspective,
think.
you should have been kicked out,
Yeah,
or
I was also
they would
expected
drag
that
you in with
basically.
force.
Yeah, I was also expecting this, but yeah, probably to the extra ordinariness of the situation, maybe they decided to let it go. I
Yeah,
guess because it's really crazy. Like I think we didn't have anything like that in our life, so that's really a situation like super
yeah.
crazy.
If the West would just allow him to take the Ukraine, well, then he would take Finland, and that would mean that I would be in
The
war
the West
because I'm
basically
Swedish.
it allows it allows to take Ukraine. So from the very beginning, they say that we want to protect Ukraine. Yeah, so go attack it. Yeah, so
Yeah,
and that's what they did. Yeah, so I'm grateful that uh, like almost all the world takes our refugees, help them, including Bulgaria, including all other European countries and not European countries. I'm grateful that we're given some weapons. It's also
mm.
helpful, but basically, if we didn't fight, yes, the West would let it go the same as happened in 2014. We didn't fight. It was our mistake. Yeah, we were weak by that time, but still we had to fight. Of course, that's our shame. I'm not saying that we are perfect
No one's perfect.
nation. We made lots of mistakes throughout all our independency. Yeah, we were super naive. Yeah, we let the nuclear weapon. We dropped our army almost to non-existence. So believing that no one. I remember myself in my childhood, like who in the world would attack us because like we are poor people, like we don't have money, don't have anything. So like, who in the world wants like if someone attacks us, let us surrender. Like like if Europe attacks us, okay,
Yeah.
let's surrender and join Europe. But yeah, the reality came like from the usual place, I would say. So like throughout the last several hundred years, we were attacked from the west, from the east. Yeah, and the same thing happened again. So
Yeah. You actually gave up your nuclear weapons voluntarily. I think that's one of the first and only time in human history that
yeah,
someone did that, and
yeah,
that's a good thing. And now the people that you gave the nuke to are attacking you, and while people describe you as Nazis, I can tell you one thing: if Fox News is watching, if someone gives away their nukes voluntarily, they are not Nazis. Simple as
yeah,
that. And also the world gave Ukraine their guarantees that if you give this up, we will protect your military. And it's not, that promise is not worth anything. That's one of
yeah,
the reasons why Sweden don't want to be in the NATO, because you know these countries will never, they never fulfill their promises.
yeah. It was like very naive, I would say, but this was really like a light in the darkness. Yeah, this move from Ukraine. Yeah, it was an attempt to reduce, yeah, to show an example to others. Yeah,
Yeah.
let's give up these nuclear weapons. Yeah, and if the world would follow this example, we wouldn't be in this crazy situation when the second large nuclear power in the world attacks its neighbors. We are not the first. We have Georgia, we have Moldova
Mm.
attacked before us. They also have their occupied territories. They sponsor terrorists throughout the world,
Mm.
Russia. So, and they use this nuclear weapon as a threat to attack their neighbors. And they now
Mm.
threat not only Ukraine, they threat the rest of the Europe. They threaten the United States. Maybe you don't like people don't understand Russian. They do not understand what they say on their state TV, and even if they hear it, they might view it as like crazy, uh, like that crazy that it couldn't be true. And
Mm.
the same thing happened to Ukrainians. So we were hearing these threats from them throughout like these last years. So they were describing it that they will bomb like our capital, they will shoot rockets to our cities, but no one could even imagine that they are serious about it because they look like freaks. These guys, although they are politics, but they look like madmen, like crazy people, so you cannot even believe them. And now the same people, they say that they want to destroy half of Europe, half of United States, and let Russia be the only power in the world that will control everything. So
Yeah.
I'm not saying that it will be true, but I would at least treat that seriously, given the history of what has just happened, what is basically now happening. So I was expecting attack from Russia. That's why I moved to Bulgaria, because at the time I was still a JW, yeah, not a good soldier, and I wanted to keep my family, my daughter, safe uh, from possible attack. Yeah, but even I couldn't imagine that it would be that like large scale, and that bad, I would say, like really bombing cities. So that's really crazy. Like I thought they would just do something like in Crimea, kind of occupy with the large force, that no one can uh, like withstand or stand to, but they just brought relatively small force that is fit only for destroy, not for occupying Ukraine. It was meant just to destroy us. They're not they said that they're not able to control us, but they just want to destroy. And then probably I believe they have further plans. Yeah, I I would love them to not have them, not to attack anyone else. Yeah, so this is our burden to fight Russians for like
Yeah,
this
I
Eastern
actually
Empire.
like. I love Russia. I love Russians. I love language. I just notice a lot of funny things. And one thing is that a lot of them see Ukraine as not a real country, as something that it's like a clerical error that there's a border between Russia and the the Black Sea. That's kind of clerical error, and they joke about because one time when in the 1700 the dominating powers of Europe were Turkey and Sweden, and back then Ukraine were fighting for independence together with Sweden, and we got our ass kicked at a place called Poltava. So Russians always say if someone's running like a rabbit, they say he's running like a Swede in Poltava. So obviously I heard that a lot because I'm Swedish. And then they say, well, we won, but now it's in Ukraine, and they think like, and I try to explain, yes, because it's Ukraine, and like, no, Vylkislav, it's like, and they try to explain to me that Ukraine doesn't exist. Actually, heard that many times that people
No,
have the view that
that's
Ukraine doesn't exist.
100% right
It's
Nazi
political error.
ideology when you are denying other nations even the right to existence. So we have our capital like several hundreds older than Moscow, Kiev. Yeah,
Yeah,
it's so when we had already civilization, we had the kings here, princes who were like relatives to other kingdoms in Europe. Yeah, the
Sweden.
Moscow, Sweden. Yeah, we have basically it's like a topic for another big discussion, but even before this Kievan Rus, so Rus is a state of Vikings, right,
It's a
controlling.
tribe. It's basically my
Yeah,
tribe, you could say, or
yeah,
I don't know. We've been moving around a little the last
and
1,000
even
years, but
before that time, so there's no like written historic documents, from that era uh, in Ukraine, from before Kievan Rus. At least there are very few.
yeah,
But we know that we had very close relations to Sweden, to all those northern nations. So
yeah,
they will also live in here. We had other state formations on our territory.
yeah,
So and we are the people, Ukrainian, like the people that is called now Ukrainians. So this is the indigenous people to this territory. So
yeah.
we're not like we not came from anywhere. So like of course obviously we came, but it was in that much ancient days,
A
that
long time ago.
super long time, like thousands years
Mhm.
ago. Like so we are the original people who lived here, and we still live here.
Mhm.
And they deny us, and they say they have stolen even this name Rus. So Russia
Yeah, because
is started.
Americans love when you talk about Vikings because they think it's fun, and it is fun. But so Norwegian and Danish Vikings would go discover America before other Caucasian people did, and go to England and go that way. While the Swedish Vikings, we would go up the rivers until they ended, then drag the boats overland until we find another river and go down to the Ukraine and work as mercenaries in Constantinople for the whatever his name was. And actually, the funny thing is that actually Ukrainians and Swedes agree about this, and that tribe of Vikings is called Rus. And then the kingdom they founded was called Rus Kiev, and it's quite close to Rushki from that. So actually,
Yeah, and
the nation of Russia is named after a Swedish tribe that's called Rus or
yeah,
Rus.
it's true. Yeah, so no one would call
It's
this
a
Moscow.
non-contested fact.
Yes.
Often two nations have a very different story of what happened, because we were the good guys. No, you were the good guys. We were glorious. No, you were not glorious. But actually, Russians also say that the first Tsar was a Swedish Viking called Oleg. They would say, we would call him Helge.
Yeah, but they were all like mostly Kiev. Yeah, these kings or princes. So it was the capital, and no one treated Moscovian state as a Rus until maybe several hundred years ago. It was
Yeah.
maybe 17th or something century. So no one could even imagine that they are Rus. So people here were called like Russians, Rus.
Yeah.
So like, but that's not the main point. The main point is how they treat their own people and how they treat other peoples. So the naming, so Rus is also okay. Sweden tribe. Okay, no, I have no problem with that. Yeah. So and but they deny us the right to have our own country, our own state, our own language. So they have been fighting our language also throughout centuries, banning it. So there's a whole number of different bans on Ukrainian language since I don't know, like several hundred years ago by different tsars in Moscovia, then in Russia, then in like Soviet Union. It wasn't banned, but it was still like kind of oppressed
Second
as
grade.
second grade. Yeah, so if you speak Ukrainian, it means you are like some
You're a
peasant,
hick.
yeah, some freak, you know.
Yeah.
So yeah, and they deny even our existence. So that's what they do. They just want to destroy us. So that's at least the milestone of in their plans to like destroy us as much as possible, and
Yeah.
then proceed to something else.
And I hope you win. I really do. I think you win. Actually, I do believe. So what I'm thinking about that, when we were witnesses, we would go with Watchtower and we would donate the material, we would donate the money, we would donate the time, and then they would take the credit and the insurance payout. So I'm pretty sure when it comes to, at least in developed country where people have insurance, that they actually make a profit, because if a house gets destroyed, you have to sign the insurance money on Watchtower and then they will fix your house. However, with donated material and donated time, and so if his house is totally destroyed and insurance companies say that, oh, you get 5 million Norwegian kroners, then Watchtower get the 5 million kroners and you get a crappy house built by a window cleaner. And if you ask, there's something wrong with the plumbing, you think the plumber was qualified, and they will say, yes, he's qualified. He's been an elder for 5 years, and he been on battle for 3 years. So I actually 100% certain that they are making a profit on their what do you call it when they do this charity work?
Insurance.
Yeah,
Okay.
because they get the insurance money, and then the witnesses do the job. But in poor countries, especially if there's a war, they will not happen. But what I'm thinking is that I would actually, if I would have been a Jehovah's Witness, even if I wasn't a non-believer, I would set aside time to go down to Ukraine and work with construction a month of my spare time to help people. So I'm actually I'm talking to Sergei Radchenko. You know him?
Radchenko. Yeah.
Yeah,
I know.
okay. You
No,
can
like
pronounce it better than me. But
virtually.
he's
I
a
know him
construction
virtually.
worker. So I want to drum up a group of apostates, and we go down and we help even some witnesses. When the war is over, we go down and we fix some roof and we paint some windows, and there will be glory to no one If we did it according to Watchtower, it would be glory to Jehovah. Why did it not be glory to someone? We can just fix it because we're human beings on the same planet and we help each other. So that's what we have to end on a positive note.
Like on the good side, I can say that I heard at least that our congregation helps refugees, at least JW refugees, so they're not
Yeah.
helping others like all other religions and people do, but at least they help their own. So that's at least they do something.
Yeah, they do something, but I think that's not good at all if you think about it. So I think it's good that they do it. That's good. But imagine if I would run away from Norway because there's a war and people are blowing up my house and my goats and everything, and I come to the border and someone's standing with a sign that say jw.org, and I say, "Oh, can you help me? Oh, are you one of Jehovah's Witnesses?" I say, "No, I'm disfellowshipped." Well, then we can't help you.
Yeah, it's a shame.
That is not a
course.
good thing. That's not a loving thing to do. That's an asshole thing to do. And then I go to the next and they will say, "Are you a Catholic?" No. Well, then we can't help you. And then I go to the Pentecostals and then I say, "Are you Pentecostal?" No, then I can't help you. Then I go to the atheists and they ask you, "Can we help you?" Why is it that the atheists have unconditional love while religious people quite often behave as self-righteous assholes? That's not okay.
Yeah, it's not. I brought that thing. I brought this topic to an elder, even with scriptures. Yeah, but with no result, obviously. Yeah, but at least I'm grateful that they do something. So
Yeah.
to our like fellow like countrymen.
Yeah. If there's any Jehovah Witness watching this, I will recommend a book for you. It's called The Bible, and you'll find a story about a guy called Jesus, and he tells a story about a cemetery.
Good Samaritan. Good Samaritan.
Yeah, Good Samaritan that actually picked up someone from a different race and a different religion that treat him bad, and he helped him. That's a really nice story. Even if you're religious or not religious, that's a really nice story. I would recommend it to Putin as well. So I don't think it's a good thing anymore. I always used to say nice things about the witnesses, also to keep my objectivity, but I don't think that anymore. If I would run away from Sweden or Norway now and have nothing, and I come and they're standing with their jw.org sign, and I say I need help, and they will say, "Oh, you're a apostate, then we can't help you." Well, I would give my life for these people. I actually were planning a protest against Putin, pro the Jehovah Witnesses. And that is painting a target on my back, literally, because Putin is not a nice guy. And there's some other activists in Croatia, especially, that refers to me as an aggressive activist, which doesn't make this target on my back smaller. Thank you very much. But I would gladly have a target on my back because Jehovah's Witnesses are humans and they have human rights. So I'll do that. Now Corona happened, so the protest didn't happen, but we were planning a protest pro Jehovah Witnesses. Even I'm an apostate because human rights and Watchtower is not a human. Putin is a human, you could say, but Jehovah Witnesses are humans. So I will protest against Putin if he touches them. I will, and I will again.
Even I'm also against any persecution. Yeah, there's also there's some people even in ex-JW community, they support it like because of maybe bitterness or whatever. So I don't.
But then the Jehovah Witnesses would not take me in if I'm standing in the rain with nothing to eat and only the clothes on my back, or maybe I would be naked. Well, they would give me a blanket. They would give me a blanket, but they would not give me anything else more than a banana, a sandwich, and a blanket, and then send me off to fend for myself. And that's not cool. I don't think it's a nice thing anymore.
To say something good also about JWs, I would say it depends on the person. So like they are not supposed to do what you are saying, but there are people who would do that for you and who now help refugees of whatever religion. There are even JWs who help our army, which we couldn't imagine even.
Yeah.
So they're doing it against basically the teachings and doctrines of the religion, but they do it because they're good people. There are lots of good people. JWs just like tricked and lied to,
Yeah.
but they're still good. I can't say they're all bad.
Yeah. We're about to hit the 1.5 hour mark. It would be
Yeah.
fun to talk about something more fun than the stupid war. But let's focus on the good stuff. And that is that we don't have to pretend to be neutral anymore. When someone's a bully, we can speak up against him. And when you guys won in Ukraine, which I want you to do, I will try to see if I can talk to say, hey, and well, at least as a gesture, drum up some apostates, and maybe we could have an XJW meetup and help a poor person, an atheist, ex Jehovah Witnesses, or even a Jehovah Witness. Come, and we can paint the windows, get the roof done, and build a nice porch.
Like speaking
How
about
would we do that?
future, I believe we can have good future in Ukraine,
Yeah,
but in order to have it, we need something to be done about this regime in Russia. So if
yeah,
this evil regime is not punished, so if they just even leave Ukraine now, like immediately, and say, okay, we are leaving, but you cannot just come, kill like thousands of people, destroy the country, and say, okay, I'm leaving. Yeah, and everyone says, okay, but that's he's a cool guy that he left. Yeah, so it sounded crazy when I started telling this, but I now see it the same thing repeated by like people like all around the world, that something needs to be done to Russia similar to what happened to Germany after Second World War. So they
yeah,
should be really like controlled for some time by the rest of the civilized world. Yeah, until they are getting to their senses. Yeah, so
mm,
they shouldn't be allowed to be a nuclear power. Yeah, or that to have that big military power. So that's the only way. If we don't do that, anything else would be like a defeat, not only to Ukraine but to the whole world. Even living now, be it in Bulgaria, be it in Sweden, knowing that there is a bully who can start a genocide, who can bomb like mega like cities and getting like away with it without any real punishment. That means that this world like has gone really crazy. It's not. It hasn't ever been like a perfect place to live in, but that would bring it to a much like higher level of craziness to live in. So that's really not a good place to go. So whatever we can. So I, I will come to Ukraine to rebuild it, and lots of people would come to Ukraine to rebuild. Ukrainians will come back to Ukraine to
mm.
rebuild it. Those who have left now, those who have left before, like me, for instance, because of yeah, well, whatever reason, we will come back to rebuild it, but only if we know that it won't happen again, or at least there is some
Yeah,
guarantee that it won't happen again. Because
yeah.
otherwise, it's really, I don't know. You build it for decades, and then one guy comes and just destroys everything, kills you. That's really crazy.
Yeah, we have to reinstate democracy in Russia, basically, because it's not working. So, but anyway, we're hitting 1.5 hour here, so we have to stop. So, hopefully, when all of this is over, we can meet in the Ukraine and have a meetup and do some good. So, let's
Yeah,
hope for that.
hope
So,
to.
and what you say in Ukraine, you say Slava Ukraini, and then you answer,
Героям слава.
yeah, okay. So, Slava Ukraini.
Героям слава.
Okay. See you in paradise.
Yeah, heretics.